Today we're going to talk about the countries with the highest quality of life. What is actually meant by highest quality of life? Well, we're talking about cleanliness, healthcare, corruption, safety. We're talking about freedom of speech and also life expectancy. All these vital components make up for a great quality of life. They create a great quality of life. So we're going to take a look at some really important data that even surprised me. Plus, at the end of the video, I want to tell you what I think about certain developing countries. The data rarely lies. The data tells us a lot about the subject, so we should be open to listen. For the purpose of shooting this video, I decided to use the website worldpopulationreview.com. I did a little bit of research on this website, and look, this is just one website that we could use for getting our data, right? I'm using this website to source data, and based on what I found online, worldpopulationreview.com gets its data from official sources such as the United Nations and also other really trustworthy sources. Let's get started here with cleanliness. Cleanliness is super important, right? And we all know this. So before I'm going to give you the top countries that we can see listed on World Population Review, I want to quote something here. Quote, "Cleanliness doesn't just look better, it actually leads to a better and longer life." I mean, that's so true. It goes on, "Clean water, pure air, efficient handling of waste, and effective sanitization can all significantly improve human health." So true. For example, countries with high air quality scores reduce their citizens' chances of being exposed to harmful particles such as fine particulate matter, which reduces the frequency of illness associated with air pollution such as respiratory or cardiovascular disease. Also true. It goes on, countries with high pollution levels see high rates of non-communicable diseases, accounting for 72% of all deaths, 16% of which are caused by toxic pollution. I mean, this is incredible. How many people do you think that are doing all these YouTube videos filming developing countries and how great life is in certain developing countries actually know about this very subject? Very few people actually want to pay attention to this because it's like, hey, this is so far in the future. Health, I have it right now. And people take health for granted until they lost it. And now let's have a look at the countries. Obviously, incredible. The cleanest countries, okay? Here's the list. Number 1, Denmark. Number 2, Luxembourg. 3, Switzerland. 4, United Kingdom. 5, France. 6, Austria. 7, Finland. Then we got Sweden, Norway, Germany, Netherlands. The first Asian country, Japan. Australia, Spain, Belgium, Ireland, Iceland, Slovenia, New Zealand, Italy, Canada, Czech Republic, Malta, United States, Greece, Slovakia, Portugal, South Korea, Israel, Estonia, Cyprus. I mean, in the top 30, there is 2 East Asian countries, right? We got South Korea, we got Japan. In the top 50, there is Singapore. I know that's possibly the only Southeast Asian country. Taiwan isn't even part of Southeast Asia, very close to, I guess. So Taiwan is on there. So we got Singapore, we got Taiwan, but we don't have any other Southeast Asian country in the top 50. Like most countries in the top 50 happen to be European countries. But we have very few Asian countries. We have 1 Latin country, Colombia, and the rest is pretty much European. Or we got Chile, I forgot that. We got Chile. We got the UAE. All right, perfect. But here you can see not so much diversity in terms of regions, right? Next, we got healthcare, something that's really important too. Now you might think, hey, I'm in my 20s, I'm in my 30s, I'm in my 40s. Healthcare doesn't really matter to me right now. Okay, might not matter to you at this very moment in time, but chances are, sooner rather than later, healthcare will matter to you as well. So I'm going to quote this here again. Quote, "Healthcare is a broad term used to describe the various systems we as humans rely upon to help us maintain our personal health through the treatment or prevention of illness, injury, disease, and other physical or mental impairments." Okay? It goes on. Healthcare encompasses medical doctors and hospitals and dentistry, psychology, nursing, psychotherapy, occupational therapy, and more. It goes on, "The quality of healthcare is determined by considering a wide range of factors, including the care process, preventative care measures, safe care, coordinated care, and engagement and patient preferences, access, affordability, and timeliness, administrative efficiency, equity, and healthcare outcomes, population health, mortality amenable to healthcare, and disease-specific health outcomes. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, the list has slightly changed right now. Okay, let's have a look at the top ranking countries here to see whether we are still looking at plenty of European countries or not. So basically, here we go again, countries with the best healthcare. And each country is given a score of each of the above factors in then a total score of 100. According to this index, the 10 countries with the best healthcare are: number 1, South Korea; number 2, Taiwan; number 3, Denmark; 4, Austria; 5, Japan; 6, Australia; 7, France; 8, Spain; 9, Belgium; 10, United Kingdom. Isn't it funny that the United States is not even in the top 10? Might not even be in the top 15. Nope, it's not. It's on 18th spot. So that's how we look in terms of healthcare. Corruption. Corruption matters, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Quote, corruption is a term used to describe dishonest or fraudulent behavior by someone in power. It goes on, when applied on a national scale, corruption refers to government leaders who abuse their power, take bribes, or commit fraud or other disreputable acts to increase their own wealth and or power instead of helping the people they are meant to serve. We're seeing this in many developing countries, right? That this is actually taking place. It goes on, corruption is an unfortunate reality in many nations around the world, especially low-income countries, developing countries, and least developed countries, which have fewer checks and balances on their rulers' powers. Okay, very important. It goes on. While there is no single data indicator that directly measures corruption in a nation, many indicators offer indirect but accurate evidence of the presence or absence of corruption. All right, let's have a look at the least corrupted countries. This might surprise you again. Number 1, Denmark. Number 2, Finland. 3, New Zealand. 4, Sweden. 5, Singapore. Then we got Norway, Switzerland, Netherlands, Luxembourg, Germany, United Kingdom, Hong Kong, Canada, Austria, Ireland, Estonia, Iceland, Japan, Australia, Belgium, Uruguay, France, and so forth. Corruption matters to anybody. It doesn't matter how old you are, you can fall victim to corruption. Nobody is exempt here. It doesn't matter where you're located, doesn't matter what you look like, doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter where you are from, doesn't matter your country of passport, your country of citizenship. It does not matter. Anybody can fall victim to corruption. The same also holds true for safety. Safety is very important, and I wanted to discuss now the safest countries in the world. And I'm going to quote this here again. This is, again, really, really important. Safety. Quote, the Global Peace Index ranks the safest and most peaceful countries in the world. Who would not want to live in a peaceful and safe country, right? It goes on, this report is published annually by the Institute for Economics and Peace, which defines itself as an independent, non-partisan, non-profit organization dedicated to shifting the world's focus to peace as a positive, achievable, intangible measure of human well-being and progress. Totally agree. The report researches countries to determine which are the safest and which are the most dangerous. Let's hear it. Let's have a look. Number 1, Iceland. Well, Iceland is a super isolated place, and it's also a European country. Number 2, New Zealand. 3, Ireland. So we got all these islands in the top 3. Iceland, New Zealand, Ireland. Then we got 4, Denmark, Austria, Portugal, Slovenia, Czech Republic, Singapore, Japan, Switzerland, Canada, Hungary, Finland, Croatia, Germany, Norway, Malaysia, Bhutan, Slovakia. Bhutan is actually quite high up there, interesting. Slovakia, Netherlands, Belgium, Qatar, Bulgaria, Poland, Sweden, Australia, Mauritius, Spain, Taiwan, Romania, Italy, Estonia, United Kingdom. We got Costa Rica towards the end, maybe like 40. Kuwait, Mongolia, not sure how trustworthy that is. South Korea, wow, is ranked like towards the bottom of the top 50 list. And Gambia, okay, Vietnam, Indonesia. Okay, so seems like we got the 2 of 3 Southeast Asian countries in the top 50. Most of the crimes happening in certain developing countries, they never become public. But here we can see again, countries that are ranked at the very top here, they are mostly European countries. Next, freedom of speech. Quote, freedom of speech is the right for an individual or community to express any opinions without censorship or restraint and without fear of retaliation or legal sanction. Let's see which countries rank at the top here. Probably will not surprise you anymore. Number 1, Denmark. 2, Belgium. 3, Switzerland. 4, Finland. 5, Uruguay. Sweden, Portugal, New Zealand, France, Canada, Estonia, Argentina. Really? Austria, Norway, Ireland, Italy, Germany, United Kingdom, Australia, Jamaica. Well, freedom of speech in Latin countries is definitely more present than it is in Asian countries. You know, as I've been preaching on this channel so much, and the data confirms everything that I've been preaching over and over and over again over the past year or so. So Jamaica, Czech Republic, Iceland, Netherlands, Slovakia, Latvia, Costa Rica, Barbados, United States, Peru, Luxembourg, Spain, Chile, Taiwan, first country in the top 50 that's Asian. Ecuador, South Korea, second country in the top 50. Dominican Republic, Senegal, Lithuania, Japan, Israel, Mongolia, Cyprus, Ghana, Greece. So we had, what, 3 Asian countries in the top 50, and we only really had Taiwan, South Korea. Did we even have Japan? I think Japan was somewhere in there. Anyway, we got like 3 Asian countries. No Southeast Asian countries as far as I can recall here. Last but not least, we got life expectancy. Well-being is super important. Nutrition matters a lot. We haven't talked about nutrition at all. Nutrition is super, super important in order for you to have a long, healthy life. Countries ranked by life expectancy. Hong Kong, number 1. 2, Japan. 3, Macau. 4, Switzerland. 5, Singapore. Italy, Spain, Australia, Channel Islands, Iceland, South Korea, Israel, Sweden, France, Malta, Canada, Norway, Ireland, New Zealand, Greece, Luxembourg, Netherlands. So here we can see a little bit more diversity. Life expectancy has a lot to do with nutrition. Nutrition is like number 1. Like, you can have great healthcare. If your nutrition sucks, chances are you will not have a long, healthy, happy life, right? So we can see that we get 3 Asian countries in the top 3, right? If you can call them Asian countries. I mean, Hong Kong is not necessarily a country. Now with China taking it back, life expectancy might actually go down. Japan, definitely a country. Super healthy cuisine, super healthy way of living in many ways, not in all ways. It's pretty stressful, but despite all the stress the Japanese are experiencing, life expectancy remains super high. And I think that's applaudable. 3, Macau. Macau is not really a country, right? It's a jurisdiction located in China. Now that we've taken a look at all this data and you're like, well, I don't really need to focus on this right now because these things don't matter to me. I'm young. I want to be in a country that has a low cost of living, that offers a low cost of living, that offers beautiful women, warm weather, exotic beaches, a like-minded community. I want to be in such a country. That is totally fine. However, life expectancy in Southeast Asia is not super high, as we can see. Generally speaking, and that's as a rule of thumb, the closer you are to the equator, the lower your life expectancy will be. Why? Because the overwhelmingly hot weather has a negative impact on your life expectancy. You feel more tired, you sweat more, and I'm not saying all of them, but certainly many Southeast Asian, and that's also true for Latin America, Africa, certain cities in developing countries, you know, they make it really difficult for you to breathe, you know, to exercise outdoors. And whether you're in a breathable environment or not definitely adds or subtracts from your life expectancy. I met a guy and he said, well, I enjoy living in Southeast Asia and I don't really care how long I live. He said, I don't care how long I live. I don't care if I have a short life here. What matters to me is quality of life. And he was really convinced that his quality of life is better in certain countries, you know, it was a Southeast Asian country in his case, than in the West. He was totally convinced about that. And that's perfectly fine. And look, that's important, you know, if life in the West is expensive. It is so expensive that you can't even afford to live. You cannot afford healthcare if you live in the United States. I mean, the United States did not rank at the top. You know, it did not rank at the top for most things that we discussed in this video. It just didn't. But European countries, they rank very high up on the list that we just looked at, right? But if you were in Southeast Asia and you're like, hey, I want the low cost of living, I want the tropical beach lifestyle, or I just want the tropical weather, and I don't care if I die at 59 or 72, it doesn't matter to me as long as I had a high quality life during the years that I was there, I am totally okay with that. That is fine, you know. Quality of life differs for each person. What's important to me may not be important to you, and vice versa. So yeah, if you don't like cold weather, if you don't want to live in a very developed country, then potentially living in a European or North American country is not for you, and that's totally fine. We all need to decide on our own where we want to live, how we want to structure our lives, and we have to accept the pros and the cons of the place where we're at, and I think that's important. In your opinion, which country has the highest quality of life? Leave a comment below and let us know. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. I'm uploading new videos on digital nomad locations, travel updates, and investment advice several times a week right now. And if you got some more time left, check out these videos.